Hello, everyone. This is BizChicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today we're here with Coach Caren Fern, all the way from Toronto, Canada. Talking to you about how to bring those profits in daily. So we are just so excited. We hope that you'll share this out with your friends. Also, that if you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, that you will do so. But we are just excited to have you in the house and have you be part of the conversation.
Yes.
So I want to give a shout out to my partner, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. I'm Terralina from California Cover Ups, and we're the Biz Chicks. And we are so happy and so proud to be able to bring you important facts and information from Coach Caren Fern, all the way from Toronto, Canada. Coach, we're so glad to have you in the house. How you doing
Thank
today?
you. I'm good. Doing good.
Yeah.
Doing good. Oh,
Mhm. I can see that. You just look exceptional today. You're glowing. This is good. This is great.
yes. This is planning season for me too. I just enjoy the big picture planning. I do enjoy getting to see what is the possibilities. It's in your head, but to actually pull it out and see it on paper and then
Mhm.
take the steps to make it a reality. So all this month we're talking about the last quarter in the planning, and we
Uh-huh.
covered that on the 6th. Last week, it was last week, yes, we talked about the real challenge because it is challenging. I'm aware it's challenging. It is challenging to do, but it's doable. We talk about celebrating and moving through. And this week, we're just continuing the conversation on how to
Mhm.
stay on track because you get excited when you start planning it, if you're a planner. And if you're not a planner and somebody tells you to plan, then now you're like, oh my God, I got to go plan this out. And I don't really want to do it. I don't want to see it. This morning, I love watching TikTok when I'm having my breakfast. I always get what you need. I'm telling you, when you put it out, you always get what you need. And
Mhm.
I was thinking about some other thoughts I'll bring up later, but this gentleman was talking about it. He's on YouTube too, and he said, he went to bed one night, and his dad is his wife said to him, "So what's your 5 year plan?" And he's like, "What?" And he said, and then she just turned over and went to bed. She didn't say anything more. Just he's like, "Where's this coming from in his head?"
Mhm.
Right? He's like, "What is wrong with this woman?" He said, but he couldn't sleep because he recognized that he didn't have a 5 year plan. He had no plans. He was doing what he was doing, being a good husband, being a good dad, but he had no plan. He was just doing what it feels like he should be doing or what he thinks he wanted to do. And he said, so he went and asked a friend. And the friend said, so you don't have a 5 year, 10 year, 15 year, you don't even have a month's plan? He was like,
Yeah.
nope.
Yeah.
I mean, I work, I do whatever I do. The guy's like, I'm not even on social media and I know you need a plan. So he said I was a good friend because he broke it down and got out pen and paper and started saying, okay, so what you want to do, where you want to be, and where you want to see and where you want to see happen. Because sometimes when you're an adult, you keep thinking because you're not a kid anymore, you can't think that way in terms of what I want to be. Because sometimes where you at right now is not really where you want to be. You're just
Mm.
there through circumstances, through environment, through financial struggles, but it's not really where you want to be. But sometimes as adults, we don't think that we can just start over and say, hey, I'm going to scrap this. Hey, I don't care who knows that this is what I did for a living for 10 years. Right now, that's not what I want to do anymore. And this is where I'm going to start. And if
Mm.
anybody want to see that in motion, go on TikTok. There's a lot of start over people on TikTok. Big people, not worrying that it's for young people and teenagers. They're there, 50s, 60s, 70s. I don't have an 80-year-old lady. I don't see her as much now. Went on there talking about what she always wanted to do. And now she's doing it. She says, if I got 5 years left, if God is going to give me 5 years, let me use it the way I always wanted to use it. I mean, what an
Mm.
inspiration to not sit back thinking I'm 80 and I can't do it versus I'm 80 and if I'm going
Yeah.
to live to 85, let me have the most gorgeous other 5 years in my life. you know,
Beautiful. Beautiful.
really exciting.
That is. It's just really great to see
Yeah.
people.
I get excited when I see people just going after what they want. So we're going to talk about finding new ways to stay and be deliverable I don't know if that's a word, but to deliver to yourself. So deliverable to yourself and your
Deliverable.
business.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
you really truly have to find a way to deliver what you say you're going to do. And then create challenges and solve the mess that's already there. Create a challenge to solve whatever mess is circulating around you. Create a challenge and do it. And then always keep running a running checklist. Always keep a running checklist. Like you can keep a checklist for the whole week of all the things that you've been doing. So
Hmm.
mine piles up for the week. So that at the end of the week, I could notify Caren of all the things that she's covered, all the things that she's done. So if any part of her is trying to say, well, this was not a good week because the financial part didn't add up as I wanted it,
Hmm.
or somebody didn't get results as they were hoping. No, I got to proof that I did the work and it's going to come in time. So
Hmm.
I keep it for the week.
Wow. That's good.
Because we
Because
know that marketing
we
really
do
helps you.
we do tend to only think about the things we didn't accomplish.
Yes. Yes.
And that's that can be so detrimental.
Very detrimental to us versus what is it,
Hmm.
we're going to do. A friend asked this yesterday on Facebook about us stopping to listen when God is talking to us. Do you listen? Do
Hmm.
you hear? What do you do? Do you stop talking long enough to hear? And I was
Yes.
telling her, I said, I remember the first time that I could clearly remember, I wasn't 10 yet, but I clearly remember when God talked to me. And I didn't know what it was because it felt like a breeze or like a whisper in my ear. That's the only way I could have explained it. And I was standing with my friend and I say, "What?" And she said, "Are you talking to me?" And I was pressing enough to say, "No." No, I wasn't saying anything because this was an answer to prayer I was putting out for 3 weeks straight. And I got the answer in front of somebody. That's how my orange story was born. It's like I was talking to her when he gave me the answer, and I didn't know what to do with myself. So I go, "What?" And she
Hmm.
just jumped because the conversation saying what compared to what we were talking about was out of place. But
Hmm.
I knew I was being like my whole skin is growing when I remember that story. And I was right there, and part of me was fighting to respond to what he just said. And because I said it's not real. Nobody whispered in my ears. There's
Hmm.
no breeze. I'm just imagining it. I went through this whole pile of things rapidly to explain this whole process. And I couldn't explain it. So instead of fighting it, and when you're a child, it's easy to do. I
Yes.
just went ahead and do what was said. So I said to my friend, I said, "So you want to buy the orange or what?" Because he said, "This is your opportunity. You wanted money. Here's your opportunity." That was what I heard. I heard, "Here's your
Mhm.
opportunity." And like clockwork, she just left me, as I told you guys, and she just went inside, get the money, and paid for the orange fag. And I knew at that moment. But let me tell you, after I saw the orange, the part I never said is that I went inside, and it's like I was trying to catch my breath because I was experiencing, is this real? Did this really just happen? What am I supposed to do? I'm like, an overflow of emotions.
Wow.
Overflow of emotions.
Isn't that amazing when you realize that if you did it once, you can do it again and again?
Yes, yes, yes. This is the cool part. Once you do it, you can do it over and over because he's giving you the knowledge now. He's
Hmm.
giving you the okay, because you've been asking and praying, and prayer people, the ones who pray but don't believe, because there's the
Hmm.
people who pray but don't believe. And I'm not calling you out. It's just that probably you're not there yet and
Hmm.
don't believe. You keep thinking that it's not working, but it's working. And if you pray and you believe and you feel also that it's not working, it's because it's not showing up how you envision it to show up.
Hmm.
So, if you're going to get into your planning, prayer is going to be involved if you're a prayer. you're going to talk to God about this stuff. It's not sitting down begging him to make it happen. It's just having the discussion. And I think people need to really recognize this. He don't care if you make money or don't make money. That is you doing this on earth here. Your job, because let's go into money, right? Your job is to pray about your abundance, pray about where you want to go, and then go to work doing what you're supposed to do. That's where the consistency and focus come into play. And then allow that prayer to manifest itself within the work that you put in. Because back to my story, if he'd whisper and I didn't do anything, I wouldn't have sold the orange. I would not have believed that somebody can go to the market and buy an orange, far cheaper, but would pay me because it was peeled and fagged out 5 cents a piece. It made no logical sense.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes sense because I was obeying or listening to, if you will, on that without question, really, that this is possible.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't sit down and go and say, well, this can't happen. I'm not going to do it and argue. I acted upon it. That action step, that first action step, even if you not fully believe in yet.
Mm-hmm. Well, Cecilia, how you doing, Cecilia?
Hi, Cecilia.
Believe and you shall receive. Doubt and you live without. That's right,
I like
Cecilia.
it. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't, when you look at things logically, you're like, I can't do this. This is not possible. This can't happen. And it's really, God always shows all the possibilities. I came to Canada and 11 months in, I know I couldn't stay living at my dad's place. And I started looking for a place without the salary I was receiving was so minute that it made no sense for me to rent somewhere else, because what I was paying him in rent, and by the time I transportation and I eat a little bit, I had no money left over.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so to the bone that it made no sense for me to go look for an apartment.
Yes.
But the living environment was not good, and my mind needed to not be in that kind of space. So for me, I needed to really look after myself. I like being happy and just free spirit, and I was being sucked into this oblivion of just I couldn't breathe kind of stuff, and I wasn't used to it. And I started looking for an apartment, and I remember my friend that was helping me. She says, "Karen, how much you can afford?" I said, I can only afford $350 to $400. And she said, you can't get an apartment for that price. And I said, I don't know, but I got to find a place. And we start looking. And this is how, when you ask and you do and you believe and you get to work. So every night after work, I'll be out looking for an apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And when I finally got something, she herself actually arranged to talk to somebody. And I talked to the landlord. She was a realtor at the time. She says, Karen, the cheapest you're going to be able to get a place for is $675. I remember her saying this to me. And I said to her, I don't have $675. I said, but I'll talk to you tomorrow because we could figure out something. She took me to the place anyhow, showed it to me, and I liked it. And I said, okay, I'm going to find a way. And I went to work. I prayed about it, and I went to work, and I got into there, and I'm going to confess to some things I did that made no sense to nobody else. I went to the president of the company I worked for, and I said to him, I got a place to rent, and I need to leave from where I'm living, and I need to figure out how I can pay for it. So I know you don't give advances, but if I can get my first and last month's rent, I promise you that I'll work until I paid it off. And he said, Karen, give me a chance to think about it. Terry, I left, I walked upstairs, changed into my uniform, got into the kitchen, and the man is on my shoulder tapping. He says, come see me in the evening. Before I left, I'll write you a check.
Wow. See? Because you asked.
Yep.
Here's Mark. Mark says, and that's why Karen sold her kidney. No.
I'm telling you, he wrote the check, and I was looking at that check and thinking, this guy is crazy. Even though I asked, I still was freaking out in my mind, And then I went back to his things, and I said, how are we going to do this? How am I going to pay it back? You could take it out of my salary, and we discuss and whatever. We had a long chat. I paid it back over time. I figured out my
Mhm.
way. I had started my side business. I got a second job. I paid it off.
Because when you're in an environment where you can think, then you can receive the information you need. But if you're in the middle of chaos,
You can't.
you can't think.
You can't think. And I'm glad I made that move because that move made me did what do what I came to do. I was able to go back to school. I got to pick up a second job. I did my business on the side. I work full time, part time, and I went to school full time. And when people who knew me, when they see me, they said, "I don't know what kind of miracle you're working because God is probably giving you more than 24 hours." I'm like, "No, same 24."
But you know something, when you come home to a space that is peaceful, you can work your business. You have time to study because there are no distractions, I guess
No
is what.
distract. Exactly. 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 So
Wow.
I'm referring that to say when you're planning, you're going to find obstacles. You're going to find things that's going to challenge you. Your
Mhm.
job is to sit down and find a space. If you can't move right away, to figure out if you're going to do it. I don't know if it's a corner. I don't know if it's a washroom. In Canada, the library is opening back to the library. If you got a car, you sit in your car
Walk to Starbucks.
up and down. You do whatever you got to do to get this clearance so that you can really see where you need to be. And don't get upset when you get challenged. Those challenges is so you can solve
Mm.
problems. Those challenges help you to see that you can do it. You write your list and you work each subject line on your list as a challenge, and you challenge yourself. You might have a list of 10 things, but you're not going to accomplish them today. But you say, number one is probably going to take 2 or 3 days. I remember sitting down with this same job and writing out. My supervisor had given me an opportunity to write my job description because she never had one set up. And that opened the floor for me to be able to have a really good intimate relationship with her, over a couple of months. And I said to her, I came to Canada to go to school. I already came to go to university. And working here wouldn't get me there because if I stay here, I couldn't get there. She goes, why? She says, I hated school. I don't understand what's the big deal, because that's not what she was looking at.
Mhm.
I said, and I can't use what a lot of people don't know. If you had your high school diploma or whatever in the West Indies or South America, they don't let you bring it and use it in North America. You got to start over,
Okay, so your
because
transcript, you couldn't use your transcript from high school.
if you could use it, it costs you so much money that is not worth it. They don't make
Mm.
you post it. You got to get from official to official, and it costs you an arm and a leg to
Mm.
bring it.
Wow.
Ridiculous. And so you go in and you get tested, and like you got to start over. And I tell people, I just went back to high school again. I was irritated, I was upset, but the one thing I keep saying, but I know this stuff already, so how hard could it be?
Mhm, mhm.
So I said I needed to go back to school. Okay, I'll do it. And that opened. So I'm talking really about challenges here. So that was my challenge. But then how do I fix it? Because I'm working from 11:30 in the mornings
Mhm.
and I until 8:30 at night. And so the only time I can go to school is in the morning. But
Mhm.
school doesn't open until 9 o'clock. And so I would can't be in there just for 2 hours and get to work. And I sat with myself with that challenge for a whole week, and I wouldn't stop thinking about how could I make this possible. And I was so tempted to tell my friend what I'm going to do, but God keep holding my mouth shut. He says, don't speak to anybody about it. And I didn't. And I got to work because the only person I needed to speak to was the supervisor, nobody else. So when I got there, I said to her, I said, Susan, I need to talk to you. She says, cool. What's up? I said, like, this has to be with just you and I. So we got in her office. She closed the door, and I said, I got a proposition for you. She said, well, don't you? I said, could I come to work later than usual? She goes, what does that mean? What would I look like? I had mapped it out. I
Mhm.
mapped it out because in my mind, she was going to say yes. If I didn't have a plan, how would she say yes?
Correct.
Yeah, so I worked it out how much hours I need to make up for the mornings that I'm going to need off, what time I should come in, how much I'm going to pick up, how later I'm willing to stay, because everything is time sensitive. And when I presented it, she said to me, "Give me 2 days."
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
came out and everybody was asking me, "What happened? You guys went to the office. You're okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." I still seal my lips. I said nothing. It took her less than 48 hours. The next day, she was like, "Caren, the plan is approved."
You see, and because you were still and in an environment where you could think, you could
Yes.
map it out. Cecilia says, "I love this topic. I'll listen to it over and over again." I understand what you're saying, Cecilia, because it is inspiring and it does tell us we need a plan, especially if we're going in to talk to somebody about making adjustments.
Yes.
They don't have time to map that out for us.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
And if we don't even know what it looks like, we can't make suggestions. I
Exactly.
love the way you had that plan before you went in the office. Okay, if I work late on these nights and come in late on these days, it'll balance out, and she can schedule around it. You have to make it when you're negotiating. You have to make sure that it's a mutually beneficial
Yes. Exactly.
agreement. Yeah, that everybody benefits.
Everybody had to benefit. And I had to
Mhm,
look at how it's going to benefit her, myself, and the school that I had applied to, wrote the exam, got into the school because I
mhm.
got in mid semester and I had to write an exam before they accept me in. And how would it look? And I got to the school, it was a 5 day a week school. And I said to the guy, I said, "I need to do 4 days a week." He goes, "What are you talking about? People come to school 5 days a week." I said, "I need to do 4 days a week. I work full time." Again,
Mhm.
another plan
Yeah.
for him and the principal of that school. I made a plan how I can double up on days, on each day. So Friday I was off.
Mhm.
And that meant that Fridays, I'm now working from 11. I'm working from 7 in the morning all the way to 8. And I was willing. I made up
And
my
that
mind.
made up the
It
difference.
made up the difference, and it made up the difference also on Mondays. I would stay later on,
Mm.
so that made up the difference. The cool thing was I was able her brother needed a job and he would work now and then, and I said to her, "If he get my hours, would that help?" She says, "Yes, he's in university." I said, "Cool." Covering my shift.
And benefiting the other party.
Mhm, mhm. So I was
I
able to
love it.
get my shift covered. I was able to come in. And then when I came into work, this was the other thing. When I came into work, I came in not feeling upset because I'm going to tell you the other part. This is a bad part. When I got in there, people are nasty. People will leave me so much more work than regular because I wasn't there on time in their minds that I should be, even though
Mhm.
eventually I did tell everybody. But I would get in there and I start to sing from the time I got in, and I would get through everything. I wouldn't miss a beat. I work harder than anybody else because that's what I needed to do because I asked for this, you know. And
Mhm.
initially, people give me such a hard time, but I refuse to give up.
And
I refuse to
and then
move.
don't you love it after you achieve it? They're like, "Wow, I don't know how you did that. I'm so inspired by you." After putting all the obstacles they could in your way.
All the obstacles. You're right. But God also, I said, He lets you, if you say you want it, you truly want it, let me see how you're going to do it. And
Mhm.
just, oh, it feels like out of the works. Over time, people will just start helping me. I would get
Yes.
into work and I would see, a couple of the waitress would say, "Kind of help you do this? Kind of got this ready for you. I know that you're coming in. I figure it's transportation. That's why you weren't here early." And people just, because there's always those people who don't care, will give you a hard time. But then I want to make sure that I'm saying this. There's the people who rally around you and who is betting on you
Yes.
and willing to help.
Rooting for you. Yes.
Yes. And those people, I never forget them. Those people were just there for me every step of the way. Who says, "What do you need help with? Tell me how I could help you."
Mhm.
And those people rally around. I spent a full year working like this. A
Mhm.
full year working like this. And working up to my diploma, working night, day, studying. I was like a merry-go-round, but I was not moving. And I gave myself that year challenge and I stuck it out for that year.
Yes, and I know that when we look back at our lives, there are times when we all made some kind of serious adjustment and sacrifice to get what we really wanted.
Yes.
What so the question is, are you really doing what you really want? Because when you do, just from the story that you related, we sit down and we figure out, how do I get it?
Yes. Yeah.
How do I really get
How you
this?
ready to get it? Yeah, and you set that challenge and you do everything that you can to get it. Because remember, guys, I'm telling you guys, the apartment is six something, and I'm only making enough money for something at a time. My salary was every 2 weeks I made 511 something, and so it's, if I covered, I can't eat, I can't travel, I can't do anything. And in the midst of all of this, my money went up and up a couple of times, so I balanced out. So
Isn't that interesting though? I, but at the same time, I remember you telling stories about how you were actually embroidering and doing things during the commute.
yeah.
We learn to use our time more
Mhm.
wisely
Yes.
when we really want something.
When we really want something. That's when anybody
Mhm,
asks me how I do so many things in a day. I say, I use my time wisely. That's what
mhm,
you guys see. I really truly use my time wisely. The days that I cook, I know that I'm cooking. So I end my day pretty early and I go upstairs and I cook for 3, 4 days. That's how I
yes.
cook. And it's there.
Mhm,
Cook every
mhm,
day. I'm only serving in the evenings. If I had a client that I need to meet in the evening, I know how to swap things around. But I always make sure that whatever I am doing, I time myself and I challenge me that if something took me an hour today, how in the next 2 weeks I could do it in half an hour.
mhm,
I
mhm.
challenge my brain and myself because once I work efficiently, I work better. I'm satisfied. I'm not beating myself up and I get things done. And when you understand this about yourself, whomever you are, going to listen to this replay and however you work, you need to understand who you are and how you work. And then you need to find challenges for yourself to better the way you work because it helps you in the long run.
Mhm, mhm.
When you find ways to challenge you, nobody's have to give it to you. Find ways to challenge yourself. You will notice that you work at whatever you were doing before and you think it was great. You can't believe how you can improve on it. So you
Wow.
can celebrate it.
I hadn't even gone there. I was just trying to get the planning done. Cecilia says you are amazing, and you are,
Thanks,
Coach.
Cecilia.
I, but I want to say this to you, Cecilia. When you look back over your life, we're all amazing in different ways.
Yes, yes, we all
And
are.
we've all done some things that when we look back and say, how did I do all that stuff? You
Yes.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
how did I
Yeah.
raise kids? How to raise kids,
Yes.
work, take care of a home, work outside the home, take care of my husband, be a caregiver to my mother. All these things going on at the same.
Simultaneously.
It's, it's, it's a people thing when we really want to get something done,
We get it done.
and we find a plan, don't
We
we? We
find a
make a
plan
plan.
and we get it done. The main thing
Hmm.
I tell my clients, I says, you have to really give yourself the room to know that when you're going to take on a business or when you're going to start a job, even if you don't have children or a husband,
Hmm.
you yourself is a job. Looking after you is the first job you're doing. Don't push this and say it's nothing much. When you look after yourself, that's a
Hmm.
job on its own. Getting your hair done, your nails done, looking good, keeping yourself fit, eating right,
Yes,
getting rest. That's a full-time job on your own. Most women, I know some men included, but most women is really carrying on 3 to 4 jobs at any given time.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Some they're paid for and some they're not paid for,
Exactly.
but they're carrying a lot of jobs on. And so when you look at it as a job and not something that you do and you put money to it because you should, you get to understand your worth when you have a business and how much you can charge. You get to understand how worthy you are as a person. You get to understand that, the things that you're planning looking forward to whether it's now or a year from now, it's good to do. because it's good for your being, it's good for your money, your body, mind, and soul, your
Mhm.
mentally, physically, financially. All those things are wrapped up in there. So why would you not want to plan it out? We talk about planning today, and planning feels challenging. It feels hard. If you're a planner, it still feels challenging, let me tell you. And if
Mhm.
you're not a planner, you're like, why should I plan? Well,
Mhm.
because of all the things I just talked about, because of all the places it will carry you.
Well, now Cecilia says we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. Yes, I am a job, she said. And I don't think we list that when we're thinking about, different streams of income. We don't even think about ourselves
Mhm.
as a revenue stream.
Mhm.
You know, that is girl, without that mainstream,
Girl.
without that river, there could
Yes,
be no
yes, yes,
streams, right?
yes, yes.
And the streams feed into the river,
Mhm.
and so it's all connected. But
Yes,
yeah, if you
yes.
don't keep that main thing going, it doesn't matter how many streams come in. It just won't
Exactly. There
work.
ain't nothing going. That's why everybody talk about burnout and talk about they can't do it, and you get anxiety attacks, and you're like
Mm,
panicking and know what's going to happen next.
wow. But well, coach, we learned something on today about planning and staying on track and focusing and having how important having a plan is just from the stories that you shared with us today. Oh my gosh. And guys, don't be afraid to go back and look at some of the stories of your life and share them with people you trust.
Yes, yes,
We'll love to hear your stories.
yes, for
Okay.
sure.
Oh my gosh. So,
Mm.
is there anything you want to say before we wrap up?
No, just make sure, I'm just gonna counteract, but continue saying what I'm saying. Plan it, challenge yourself. And if you're feeling really stressed, or it's really weighing on your heart, walk away, get a glass of water, watch a funny movie.
Ah,
Don't, get yourself loosen up a little bit.
take
Dance
a
if you
mental
like to
health
dance,
break.
like you put on some music and just go to town. Okay.
So you suggesting that we take little mental health breaks
Yes,
through the
yes,
day
yes,
if
yes,
we get
yes, yes,
if we start to feel overwhelmed or
yes,
challenged.
yes, yes,
Just go somewhere and as Jill says and do some deep breathing or
yes,
and
yes,
just
yeah, yeah.
refocus.
Refocus, because what it tries to do is to let you know that you shouldn't be doing it, right? That's what it makes you feel like, but it's not true. You just have to break through that and get
Mhm.
past that, because anything you plan to do for a week, you look back, you're always shocked at yourself at how much you have accomplished. At the moment, I have a 60-day challenge for myself with some things I want to accomplish, and I'm on day 9 today. And
Mm.
yeah, the challenges came like crazy. The minute I set it out in action and plan it out and I started it, everything happened.
I tell you, I went over to look at my domain and the thing came up 404 error message. I'm like, no, this is not true. I called Francine and when we went back in there it was. It was like, okay, you're just messing with me now. You
Exactly.
know, just messing with us. So yeah, guys, Coach Caren has so many words of wisdom. And I love the way you just keep it plain and simple for us to understand. If folks are looking to find you on the web, where can they find you, Coach?
You can find me everywhere. Profits in Daily, Facebook, Instagram. I'm even on Twitter right now. Don't go
Twitter.
there much, but still everywhere. Profits in
And
Daily.
obviously, you're on TikTok because you were watching that at breakfast.
That's my breakfast watching. I haven't put any videos out yet. I'm working on it, but I just enjoy people. I'm enjoying people right now. That's what I'm doing.
Mhm.
And I allow myself, I'm like, I'm not ready yet to create there, but I'm enjoying the people that is creating.
Exactly. So, do you have any workshops coming up or?
Nothing at the moment. Nothing at the moment, but when I do, I'll definitely pass it on to you.
Okay, now I want to say this. I know that you are a business coach. Can you tell us a little bit about who would call you for help?
Okay. As a business coach, people come to me for two things. They come to me for the personal side, and for the business side. So somebody
Mhm.
who is really struggling and confused or just feeling overwhelmed in themselves and not sure what's the next move. What how to get from where they are to where they want to be. And so we
Is
coaching,
that in the personal life?
that's in a
Or-
personal life. That's in a
Okay.
personal life. And most times the people that come that way really want to start a business, but they want to get their lives in order
In
first before
order.
they start a business, so they don't get into it, and don't know what to do when everything is messy. And for the
Exactly.
business side, when somebody's in business already, and their business probably is not profitable, or they're not feeling like they can grow this business to where they want it to be. So they really come into me for the growth part of things. They know what they want to do, they understand their business to some
Hmm.
extent, but they're having difficulties moving from where they are now to where they want to be, and understanding how to be productive, how to handle the money, how to understand their finances. And that could be from the bookkeeping point of view, or it could just be from revenue point of view. And so they come in to get that kind of help.
All right. So, guys, there you are. If you need help with your personal or your business finances or organizing your life, you want to contact Coach Karen at Profits in Daily. We want to also encourage you that if you're looking to be a part of the BizChicks community, that you text Biz to 33777 and join the BizChicks community. We'd love for you to be a part. We also just finished a workshop on YouTube, Coach Karen. So, we're encouraging everybody that if you need to find out more about how to live stream, we'll live stream for you over here at BizChicks. Also, we are going to be conducting workshops every quarter, and you can come on in, become a VIP member, and actually get those workshops at half price.
Nice.
So, with that, we just want to remind you guys to go to the front of your own line. And
Yes.
we'll see you tomorrow. We'll be here with Happy Healthy Habits with Robin Shimizu and friends. And I do believe Linus is going to be her guest. And hold on, we have a comment here. I don't want to leave these comments on the floor here. Let's see. Talk to you
Yes.
soon, Coach Karen. Cecilia says she's just so sweet. Cecilia, we just give you hats off to you. You are a super fan, and we love you for that.
Yes. Yes.
And over and above that, remember you're worth it. So go to the front
Yes,
of your own line.
for
Have
sure.
a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye, everyone.